Welcome back to The Wake Up Call, brought to you by Phillips Drugs on 101.7 The Point.
49 degrees here at the Whitewater Valley, 810. This is your Wake Up Call. Phil Quinn with you. Joining me in studio is City Councilman Jamie Lopeman, has taken the day to sort of come through, I guess, do the media circuit tour, right? They're going to the newspaper after this?
Correct, Phil.
All right, so where would you like to start with the issue about sanitation and what to do? There's a couple of different things that are projects for you. Where would you like to start?
Well, let's start with your history on the topic.
Okay.
I heard you talking last week with Jeff Lane.
Yeah.
Why don't you give me a recap of what you talked about?
Okay, so we took a contingent of people. There were about 4 of us in the community, and I said, I wonder what the landfill is worth. So we went over to Dayton and met with Rumpke. And we talked with them, and they said they thought at that time that the value of the Richmond landfill would be about $5 million. Mm-hmm. And they said, we would love to use Richmond as a transfer station. They've got some of that sort of now in the Depot District, but they thought that we could do a better job with recycling, that they could do a better job with recycling, that they could still limit the trash put into the landfill, either tonnage or whatever. They said they would hire the employees. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't a lease necessarily, but there could be some of those restrictions put on it. And we went back, and I met with Mayor Hutton, and I said, have you looked at this? No. Do you want to look at this? No. And I went, okay, well, at least I got lunch out of it. And that was sort of the deal. But the thought was, every single day our landfill is less valuable.
Correct.
All right. So that's what we talked about.
And what I heard there is you met a roadblock very quickly in the conversation.
Yeah. I probably should have checked with Mayor Hutton before we going.
Okay. So what I'm looking for really is authentic conversation on topics. Mm-hmm. And what brought this to the forefront was early fall, the administration said, hey, the demolition and removal of Old Reed is the priority. Well, as you know, there's more than one way to skin a cat.
Yeah.
So I thought, let me go out and start researching options. And one of the options I came up with was leasing the landfill to a private waste management company. I haven't spoken to a waste management company. What I did was I started looking around the internet for contracts. And we came across Colony, New York. Mm-hmm. Well, Colony, New York got a $23 million up front, $2 million for years, I think 2 through 3, and then $1 million for each year after that as the lease fee. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to bring that out. I know that there are standard options like grants, loans. Problem with loans are you have to pay them back. If you're paying back a loan, it's going to come out of your city budget. So you're going to cut services, or you're going to raise fees, which is a euphemism for taxes. So when I brought this out in the open, I brought it up, and there were some interest from city council members. Followed up with the administration, didn't really get any feedback over a 2-month period, so I decided to bring it out into the open. What I'm really striving for here is that we put all plans on the table, we have authentic conversation, we crunch the data, and we arrive at what's best for our city, because that's the number one goal.
Jamie Lopeman, our guest here on the Wake Up Call. A lot of that makes sense. So where is that conversation now? Because there's a second phase to this, and speaking of second phases, there is extensive additional zoning for future landfill use already in place in city code. I mean, it's already been done. So where's the conversation now, and where's it going?
So the conversation at this point is we met with the administration in the finance committee meeting on Tuesday, revisited again. Mm-hmm. The administration said that they are willing to review and entertain the conversation. So we need to make it a formal process at this point.
Okay.
So the plan for myself is to revisit this on Monday at the city council meeting, and let's move forward. But the one thing I want to caution everybody is that you're going to hear a lot of misinformation. You're going to hear a lot of emotions and opinions, and that's where we all need to step back, understand that what's going on in Colony is just a template. There's no deal. There's been no negotiations, and we need to put all plans on the table, and we need to review them. And the last thing is that this should not have a time frame on it, because if we're pressured into a week's decision,
Right.
we're going to make a mistake.
Right.
Let's be proactive.
Well, we certainly know the old hospital, isn't going anywhere.
That's correct.
So, you also last year started talking about having a conversation of where the fee structure for the sanitation district needed some review too. Sort of summarize that and also tell us where the conversation is with that.
Well, we have been trying to get information from the Richmond Sanitary District for about 5 months now. We're still missing 3 key components of the information to do the review. We already have the tax-based numbers, so we can do the comparison. I will tell you that in the last 3 to 4 years, the rate has went up dramatically, almost doubled from where it was, I believe, in 2013.
And that's not just the billing of the sewer.
That's correct.
Okay,
This is
straight trash.
And it's per the assessed value of your home.
I always looked at that sanitation budget and could see a lot of cash on hand, and always thought, boy, instead of raising sewer fees, why don't we use some of that cash on hand? And was always told, no, we can't switch those pots of money. But then I was always told, yes, you could. It just takes the vote of council and the support from the mayor, and then if it has to be voted on, then your taxpayers vote on it.
Well, understand your tax rate is your tax rate.
Yeah.
How you divvy it up is truly within the bill.
That's actually the role of city council.
That's right.
That's what you do. Okay, so tell us about, real quickly, your first year and a half on city council. Is it all that you hoped it would be?
It's different. It's different than my professional life. I will say that.
Do you get hit up at the grocery store, that sort of thing?
No, actually, no.
Good.
I mean, like I said, we kind of joked about it earlier. I get asked if I'm Phil Quinn sometimes, and you get asked if you're me. So,
very much so.
So,
yeah.
I mean, either we're doing something well or we're doing something wrong.
I just think we have opinions that may be outside, or
Sure.
ideas that are non-conforming.
That's right. But you know what? Having opinions and having ideas and plans are great. You can dispel all the misinformation with authentic conversation.
Well, authentic conversation, that is sort of the key. Before we go, and I appreciate you taking time. You're always welcome, by the way.
Oh,
we've had Misty here because she likes to slide in some of that YMCA talk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So she's like, I'll talk to you about city council, and I'll do a little YMCA thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. That's fine. If you have stuff that you're always welcome. I know that's tough with the job,
Yep.
but we can record some afternoon or evening when you're back home from work. I want you to do a favor for me. We got a couple of minutes here.
Sure.
You're a tennis guy. Played tennis at Richmond.
Correct.
And you have this idea that I think it needs to move forward. We need to have an authentic conversation about the Richmond tennis courts. You have an idea. Please share it.
My idea for the Richmond tennis courts?
Yeah. Not the
know.
Glenn Miller, because that's got cracks. We don't need it.
I know where you're going. I was lucky enough to play under a man who gave so much and continues to give so much to our community. His name is Gary Eagles. Mm-hmm. I would love to have the tennis courts, when they are either refurbed, moved, whatever the plan is, to be named after him.
Okay.
I think it's the right thing to do. And after all, he is a Hall of Famer, right?
He is a Hall of Famer, and he's been scorekeeping basketball games forever.
Yeah, and if people really knew his story, how he was brought up and adopted children, and one of the things also that a lot of people don't understand is he would go around and he would see an athlete. Maybe that kid wasn't playing basketball, but he was athletic. He'd say, "You ever thought about playing tennis?" During his time, he had 30, 40 kids playing tennis.
Wow.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Cool.
Hey, I got a tennis question for you.
Uh-oh.
You played with a gentleman.
I did.
Who is now at the Richmond Community Schools.
Mm-hmm.
Well known around the sports world.
And probably listening because he loves you.
Probably listening because he loves you. And he rules the Tierney Center with an iron fist when he's over there.
He does.
Let's talk about Jeremy Hill, the tennis player.
It's not good. It's not good. It's not a good story. I think
he's two-time sectional champ, Jeremy Hill.
He's very frugal, and so his racket, I think he got from Kmart.
Oh,
that was back. That Wilson, not even a pro staff. It was like amateur staff,
like a pre-staff.
Mm-hmm. Right,
yeah.
right.
Well.
But the thing was, I wasn't any better. He and I would play. there would be one guy that would be on JV, and then two guys would play number 2 doubles on the varsity, and it was just like a rotating circle of 3. I was the guy that would cuss, and then we'd all have to do push-ups. I was that
that's
guy.
awesome. So you were actually helping his health.
I was trying, and now he just sort of sachets throughout Tarrant Center and yelling at kids and spinning keys on a lanyard.
Yeah, you need to watch Vice Principals. He reminds me of somebody.
Jamie Lopeman, city councilman, thanks for the work you do, and continue the conversation. That's great. I'm glad that hopefully you can get into a room and have, as you say, authentic conversation.
Well, thanks as always, Phil.